Hey guys, so I'm just showing you in this tutorial how to draw the LED for your LED Safari light. And as you can see here, we've got two separate parts. So we're going to draw these as two individual parts and then assemble them together. So the top part we will refer to as the LED shell, and this part we'll refer to as the poles. Okay. So to draw this, what you need to do is you need to open up a new file, and you need to always, as we do, use metric standard millimeter parts and create. So first of all, we'll make the shell, which is really quite simple. We'll just do a new 2D sketch. Select this work plane. And I've measured the LED as I've drawn it. And the first thing we need to do is make a circle that's 10 millimeters. Finish sketch. We're now going to extrude that by just 2 mil, and there it is. So that's like the flat lip of our shell. And then we're going to do another new sketch on the top face. We're going to use the offset tool here, which is a very handy tool because we want to repeat this line and just bring it in slightly. And then we need to set the distance between these two lines using the dimension tool. So we're going to click this line to this line. And we're going to set that to 0.3. Give it a moment. There we go, it's updated. Now when you use that dimension tool to select that line, what a lot of people do is they only click one line and they end up getting confused when they give this the dimension. I haven't put 0.3 that time just so you can see it. And people don't realize that they're actually have told the software that they want the dimension of this, the diameter even of this circle to be 3. But what we're actually looking for is the distance between this line and this one. So we need to click both. And then the measurement for that again is 0.3. Okay, so now, just so we can see what we're doing, we're going to extrude this part of our LED upwards. Now, what you can't see I'm using is the escape key quite a lot. When I'm in one tool and I want to get out of it, if I just hit escape, it will deselect that tool. So that's deselected the navigation tool for me. If I press it again, it will actually deselect the dimension tool. Okay, so the reason I always recommend you use a mouse is so you can quickly change the orientation of your view, press escape, and then you can quickly go back to your drawing tools. So now that we've drawn that circle, we're going to finish the sketch. We're going to extrude that shape, and that this time we want to take it up by 11 mil and hit return. Again, I can't recommend enough that you use this navigation bar. If you press this one, it zooms all, so it shows everything. And if you have some parts of, you select this and it isn't zooming all, if you select the smaller arrow here, there's other options which you can select that tool to give you. But I prefer to keep it on zoom all because I think it's quite handy. And then we need to now put what we call a fillet, just a curved edge on this part here. So I'm going to now go to the fillet tool, which is here, click the edge. And the fillet we want to put on there is actually 4.6. There we go. Now I've got our perfectly conical shape at the top. And that is pretty much it for the shell of the LED. What we need to do now is just change the appearance of it. So we're going to go to Tools, Material. And this is one way you can change the surface of it. We can try and find in here a clear material, a see-through transparent material that will do it. We obviously want a plastic, but sometimes other materials can look more realistic. What I did previously was I used the appearance button, and in here there are lots of other styles and textures you can use. And what I actually went for was, if I keep going, there was a see-through I'm still here. I'm just trying to find the one that I selected earlier, which looked quite good. There we go, that was right. I selected glass, and then we just hit this clear one here. So if I select that, and I select the faces that I want to change, if you hold the shift button, it'll allow you to select all three, and then hit clear. That's okay. We can exit that, and now we've got our clear shape for our LED cap. Now I'm going to save that. What I recommend you save that in is you're going to make a folder called LED Safari in your H drive, and this will be LED shell. There we go. And now we need to just create the poles. So I'm going to go new drawing again. Again, metrics, standard millimeter part, and create. Now if you look really closely down the ends of the poles, they're actually thin square pieces of aluminium that are kind of extruded really long. So we're going to draw it with that in mind. So I'm going to create a new 2D sketch. And to start off with, I'm simply going to start with a rectangle that is 30 by 5. So I'm going to hit 5 there. If you hit the tab key as you're drawing your rectangle, it'll allow you to put the measurements in there and then, rather than having to use the dimension tool. So that kind of saves you a step. We'll zoom out. I'm going to offset, use the offset tool again to bring that in, but I only need it bringing in by 0.5. So I'm going to use this again to go 0.5, and then we've offsetted that line in. Okay, now we've just used that to start us off. What we're actually going to do now is trim some of these lines that we don't need. And sometimes if you have dimensions on your drawing like this, it won't allow you to delete lines because you put a dimension in which is like a rule. So what you actually, once you've set a dimension, you can actually delete them. The drawing will stay the same, and that will allow you to then delete some lines that you might not want. And what we're going to do is, these are going to be the bottoms of our poles for our LED. So we'll actually leave this one in and keep that nice and straight. But this one here, we're going to go up by, I'm going to draw a construction line in, which is 4 mil, and you'll see that go there. And then we're just going to put a line across, and then we're going to delete the lines below. And again, it wants us to delete the dimension first, so we can just delete the dimension, press escape, delete the dimension, and then we can delete the other lines. So because we've got one pole shorter than the other, because that's a construction line there, that's why we've done those two. Okay. Now if you want to just leave the top the same, you can, but if you want it to look as real as possible, we're going to actually try and draw in, if you look closely on the LED, we're just going to draw in the shape, and we're just going to do this to proportion. So I'm going to do it free-handedly, but I don't want construction lines, so these need to be solid lines. So I need to deselect that and go again. So yeah, as I said, I'm just going to draw this part free-handedly, and I'm looking at the LED as I'm doing this. It's a bit of an obscure shape for the terminals at the top, but we're going to give it a go. And that goes to that. And on the other side, it goes in again. And there we go. And now I'm just going to trim the lines we don't want. We're not going to need that or that. And then we've got a whole closed loop of lines now, so we'll be able to extrude that. So I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm now going to select extrude, and we only need it 0.5 because it's very thin. And there it is. Okay, so in fact, if I want to change that, that looks a bit too thick to me, so I'm going to change the extrusion, and I can do that by just double clicking over here. I'm going to make it slightly less. That looks a bit more like it. And now I can save that. And there's the poles of our LED. And whilst we're in this part drawing, I'm going to change the material to an aluminium. And there we go, it's a bit more silver, as the product is. So what we're going to do now is assemble both of those parts together we've just drawn. So I'm going to open up an assembly drawing, like so. And then I need to place in my parts, and this is where the work we've done really simply can be put back together. So there's the poles of my LED. I'm going to place in the shell. And there's the shell. And now we're going to add a few rules to these drawings just to constrain them in place. And the best way to do it is to add a constraint. We'll move this box, and we are going to say we're going to attach that face. In fact, we're going to do the bottom face. If we rotate this around, there we go. We want to attach the underside of here to the underside of here. And sometimes things go the wrong way like that, but if you use this box here, you can just put it the right way, and that's the way we actually want it, as so. Okay, we're now going to just move our drawing. We're going to apply that, and to get it in the center, it's really, I'm really quite happy if you just move this now visually on the bottom view into the middle. And we will now have our LED light all drawn out, all finished and ready to go. Okay, so if we save that now, that's our LED drawing complete. Okay, I'm going to show you how to turn that now into an orthographic in the next video. I'll see you in a sec. Bye.